It's your boy. I could go on about the amount of work that I've been doing with Android Authority, but the reason that I haven't been uploading is purely due to a lack of stuff to film. I've got some other tech stuff here, but you guys don't want to see that. Like, I've got sim racing stuff back there, got like consoles and stuff, but again, it's really mainly due to the phones. I also realised that focus could be off and like exposure and stuff, but you know, it's just video details, man, video details. My man Noah has been growing a lot recently on YouTube. He's now on over 100k subscribers, which is absolutely nuts, because when I first met him, I think he was on like 15k or something, and I was at about 38, and now I'm on 42 and he's on like 105 or something stupid, which is crazy. I am proud of him. So if you could go and check out his stuff, I will get onto why I mentioned him in a second. If you go and check out stuff, it's really helped me out. He was like, okay, I'm gonna buy you some phones, and this happened a couple of times, and I just said no due to my pride. I just let that get in the way, and he was like, you know what? No, you haven't uploaded for a while. Your upload schedule is awful. You need to get some phones. So he like purchased some phones for me, which is unbelievable. Like, it's crazy. No one's ever done anything like that for me before, so I really do appreciate it from him. Big thank you to Noah. I'm really appreciative. Anyway, the phones came in. They didn't all come from one place. They're like several things that like packages have come in, and with the current problem in the world, it's meant that like stuff has shown up a little bit kind of at different times. So I've got them all in this box right here. And also sorry if like stuff is slightly out of frame, whatever. This video is kind of meant to be just a bit of a catch up. So I'm going to run you through the phones we have here. These will be used to make videos on the channel. So they'll be kind of like review style kind of things that I'm used to doing, as well as some other commentary pieces and feature pieces, because a lot of these phones, as you'll go through them, will start to make sense why I picked them. You guys said that you're interested in them due to the polls that I put out on my community tab of my YouTube channel. I'm just going to turn around and check Audacity is still working. Yep, I'm going to go through them, explain why I picked them, why they're interesting to me, why they may be interesting to you, and stuff like that. What have we got here? Okay, I'm going to get these out of the packaging, put them on the table, go from there. This one comes with a SIM eject tool. Oh, it comes with a cable as well.
Hey, that's pretty good.
I was not expecting that for the price that Noah paid. Ah yes, this one comes in the original box, which is pretty awesome. This one has a case, which is really cool, and is in unbelievable condition for the age. So yeah, I'm just going to run through them. I've got notes on my phone as well, because I had to kind of write these down. Let's go through the phones that we've got. Firstly is the Nexus 6P. I'm going to bring the mic a little bit closer. The Nexus 6P, got my screen on top, just checking focus. This is a legendary phone for just having so many problems. It's the first brand new smartphone I ever bought. Interesting fact, smartphone, first brand new one I bought. And I had, it's when I started the channel really, it kind of did quite well on my channel. It wasn't crazy, but it helped it take off a little bit. And I actually lent it to my friend Harry before I got to play with it, because he really wanted to try it. So I lent that to him whilst I was working on the Nexus 6 review. Really iconic design, really iconic phone, being the last Nexus along with the 5X. This condition, the condition of this one is like, yeah, there are a few tiny little dings on it, but I don't know if I would ever have been able to keep a phone in this good condition for this long, because this was used. Now there are a couple of battery problems with it, but I bought it being that, you know, pretty much every 6P has a battery problem. So next up is another one that did really well for me early on, the HTC One M8. A hugely iconic design, just really cool phone. One of, I would say, probably the best built Android phone at the time. It just the aluminium build was a cut above the rest at the time. My mate Hayden lent me his gorgeous blue version, which was like a carrier exclusive here in the UK. And yeah, it's one of the best performing videos that I had at that time. Really did help the channel. I think it got like 50,000 views, which even now 50,000 views is a lot of views, but back then for me 50,000 views, I think I had like 2,000 3,000 subscribers, which is just completely nuts. So yeah, had to get another one of these in, and you guys said that you wanted to see a video on it. I just love the way it feels. It's just still a really cool phone. Next up is one that I've actually done recently, the Pixel 1. So I very recently did a video, like a Redux video on the Pixel 1. So I just wanted to do a Pixel 1 on my channel and dig it a little bit deeper into some other topics based on the Pixel 1, mainly focused around that camera and the software, because in my Redux episode I talked about this thing has Android 10. One of the most interesting things about it is it's still got Android 10 even though the phone came out in 2016. So yeah, it's definitely a really interesting phone to me, and I've had history with it, and I know that you guys are probably quite interested in it as well, given that this is the transition from the Nexus 6P to the Pixel. Those two were the devices to change that. Also, a couple of things I should have noted to start with. My stutters got progressively worse over the past 6 or 7 months, which you probably noticed. And yeah, I was meant to get a haircut before the whole pandemic thing. Being in lockdown means that my hair's just going to grow until I can get it cut eventually. Next up is the iPhone 6 Plus, which is famous for bendgate. That is the big thing about this. It had the bendgate issue. It was also, in my opinion, not the best. The 6S was a way better buy, in my opinion. However, interesting things about these, they are, I believe, second if not first, the most sold smartphone of all time, which is, pretty huge. And the fact that this thing still kind of, like, a lot of people still use these, which is pretty nuts. I believe this came out in 2015, and yeah, we got the gold example here. I believe it's 64 gigabytes or 32 gigabytes, and it's going to be really interesting to try out because of the bendgate issue, and because technically, from a technical standpoint, at the time, like from a marketing standpoint, it's actually kind of higher up than my iPhone 11, so it would be interesting to do a bit of a comparison there. And then finally, this one's slightly different because those 4 phones I've already kind of looked at before. I've already done some like older style reviews on them. This was a couple of years ago now. This one I've never checked out in person, and it's the HTC 10. And what makes this interesting is this is basically on the inside a Pixel 1, but it has a few different things to make it kind of different. Main thing is the external housing is slightly different, but it's still got that kind of weird chamfer around the edge, which is on the Pixel 1. It's got the same 12 megapixel camera, but different software. It's got that front fingerprint scanner, and it's also got a Quad HD display. But this is a phone that, I wanted to try out since it came out pretty much, and I never really got the chance to do it. The interesting thing about this is it came with a case, which is weird because they didn't say it was going to come with a case, but it did. And it's actually not like a terrible case. It's a decent brand. It's Spigen, whatever you call it. So just going to put that in there. And that completes the haul that we've got of cheap smartphones. We got some cheap smartphones. So expect some new videos, some more frequent maybe videos, depending on how I can balance my workload. I might be able to get 2 videos out a week. What I'm particularly interested in, not necessarily the is it viable in 2020 thing, but just seeing how far these companies have come. I mean, HTC, for example, really interesting because they basically flopped. Then you've got the Nexus line, which seems really good at the time, but then it completely transitioned to the Pixel and it did a bit of a flip-flop. The iPhone 6 Plus, which it was one of the biggest changes that Apple ever made to the iPhone, but now we're at a stage where the iPhone 6 Plus was known, I mean, in hindsight, it was just a pretty badly made phone, and so we ended up with all these problems. Same with the 6P. I don't know, I'm really excited to get some of these videos out, and I realise I'm ranting at this point. I have got a video coming fairly soon about the Moto 360, the smartwatch. I had one for a while. I mean, I've probably had one for over 6 months now, and I was meaning to do a video on it, but I didn't do a video yet because I was trying to find the right way. I mean, one, because I was just putting it off, but one of the main reasons that I didn't put that video out is because I kind of wanted to find a unique angle on it that wasn't just, can you use this in 2020? Because you can, just don't, basically. But I wanted to try and spin something on it, and I've actually come up with quite a cool narrative, so I'm going to put that forward. And I want to give an enormous thank you to Noah for sending me these phones or paying for these phones. It's a big thing to do, like, we're mates.
Oh, you and your mates!
But we never met each other in real life or anything like that, and it's pretty crazy that just over the internet, he's been this generous with helping me. Like, I helped him when he started YouTube. I kind of gave him a few tips, and now he's like huge. But he puts in so much effort, and you can tell by, one, the quality of his videos, they are very good, but 2, the sheer quantity of videos that he puts out. I think he puts out like 5 a week or something crazy like that, And I couldn't do that. I'm sorry. I do not have the work ethic to just go like that. I've got, I'm working for Android Authority as well. I've got that to deal with. I feel like maybe if I was on my own, I could maybe get there, but not at the quality that he's putting out videos at the same time. He's getting up, he's working, and then he's going to sleep and waking up the next day. He is not doing anything in his free time by the looks of things. Anyway, which device are you most interested in? Let me know in the comments. Maybe I'll do a poll to see which one people want to see first. I'm kind of leaning towards a 6P if I'm honest. I think that's probably the one I want to get out first, and then perhaps transition over to the iPhone or the HTC devices. The Pixel I kind of want to leave for a bit, since I've already done quite a bit to do with that in the Redux article in the video. Kind of want to leave that a little bit, just let some thoughts simmer and then get into something a little bit more detailed later on. Anyway guys, during this quarantine time, I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. Maybe you've got a lot to do, maybe you've not. I'm currently the busiest I've ever been in my entire life, but some people are just sticking at home and just staying out of trouble, which is really good, because I see people heading outside and it just kind of boils my blood a bit, because we all need to stay in, let this all blow over, and then continue with our lives. Anyway, I've been Ryan Thomas. Please do like, dislike, comment and subscribe if you're new around here to the most video like this one. Also check out my social medias, which will all be linked in the video description. Also check out Noah's channel, also linked in the video description. And yeah, my patrons, thank you so much for your continued support. It really does help me out. Even though it's a little bit, it does contribute. It goes a long way, especially in these kind of unprecedented times. So yeah. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.